And we are live.
Woo!
Welcome back to Honestea Talks. I'm Ranjita Singh, aka Dr. Ronnie.
And I am Ashley Peña, aka Peña Pequeña.
I need your lighting. Look at you've got like a glow going on.
It's because I have my ring
You've
light.
got the golden, that's the secret.
Hello. I mean, I'm
this
glowing.
cold
but...
white light coming from outside because it's like, is it going to rain or is it not going to rain?
Oh no, I have this ring light because our lighting here is so dark. Like the whole house, I don't know if they like that lighting, but it's very dark. So I need this ring light.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I know your secret. I have one too. I need to use it.
I know you do. I'm surprised you don't. It's just easier because it holds up my phone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yes. See, I don't normally use it. So it's just.
Makes sense.
I forget I have it.
You're glowing anyway. You're beautiful
anyway.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you.
All right. Okay. So today's topic and season finale, because I think it's important that we tell our audience that season 4 finale is on social media.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think, yeah, exactly. Dun, dun, dun. It's such a huge and important topic, especially I think now in this day and age.
Yeah.
In regards to how it affects us and how prevalent and dominant it is in our lives. Definitely. You know, like
absolutely,
it consumes so much of our time now, and we don't get actual face-to-face time with people anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you know, it's so normalized that that's okay. When you hear people like us saying, you know, guys, we're not here anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, so who cares? Like we're on our phone. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But like anything in life, when it's used too much, it's not good. Like
exactly. Oh my God. You couldn't have said it any better with anything in life. Like you think of food, you think of exercise, you think of like anything and everything.
Even water,
when it's too much, exactly, it's detrimental.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that too, when you said it, it like brought something to mind, right? I don't think we know. Like I think if right now I drink 20 gallons of water, I'll know that's too much. But I think with social media, because it's so normalized, we don't know what too much is.
Yeah.
And we're not really consciously aware of how much time we're spending on it. And not only social media, but technology as a whole, right? Like the TV, any technology. Because some people are not on Instagram, but they're on YouTube all day. You know? It's just important to really be aware of what is too much. What is too much? Where are you? Because I know what too much water would look like. I know what too much food would look like. I know what too much sun would look like. But what does too much social media mean? Because everybody's on it every day, and that's okay. So they think.
Yeah, and that's such an important thing that you bring up too, because like you said, with water, with food, we feel it in our physical body when we know it's too much. But there's nothing about social media or technology in general that until we reach, like for me personally, when I deleted like Instagram, right? Like for me, it was like a mental thing. Like I'm aware enough in my own body and my thoughts and emotions that I knew it was reaching that detrimental point and I needed to stop it. But when you're not, I think that's the important thing. It's not, when you're not aware of your own thoughts or your emotional intelligence and things like that, that's when you have no calibration system for yourself to know when too much is too much.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. You said that so perfectly. It's funny because I spoke at like a kind of panel with other people about emotional intelligence, and social media and technology was such a huge aspect of that.
Yeah.
Because to be emotional and to be emotionally intelligent is to be present, to be aware, to be conscious of what you're doing, what you're feeling, and what you need and don't need, what's good for you, what's not. And that's really important. And a lot of us are not trying to have that more in our daily lives, and it affects us because it's not something that's very obvious.
Yeah.
It can be, right? You can learn the signs of like, if you're feeling really insecure, even that could be a sign of you being on social media too much and comparing yourself too much. Or if you have a migraine, right?
Yep.
Like there were times where I was editing videos, right? You gave me those glasses. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Right. And it helped because I kept getting migraines and I'm like, where are these migraines coming from? And it's like, I'm staring at the screen, editing videos for hours. What do I expect? Like, those are all signs. But if you're not aware, like you said, how are you going to know that those are signs from your technology use? You're going to just assume you just have a headache because you do, like many people think.
Exactly.
Instead of putting two and two together and saying, what have I done today? You know, like self-reflection and saying like, I have been for the last 3 days nonstop on my phone. Nonstop looking at the screen, no protection, no nothing. I maybe have this migraine because of that. You know?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that lack of awareness of self and what could be the actual cause of what's causing like a headache or whatever. Because I know I experienced that here. Like I'd be on the phone all day long and I'd be like, okay, I need to stop staring at the screen.
Yes.
But I think about how many people go and see the doctor because they want a physical explanation as to why their physical body is giving them a headache, instead of actually what you just said, putting two and two together about the fact that, well, how many hours a day are you staring at a bright screen? You know, like limit yourself on that instead of, you know, take your own power back. And instead you're seeing people wanting a physical body reason as to why they have this headache. And it's like, well, what have you been looking at all day? And how close are you looking at it? You know, like
things
like that are going to cause physical manifestations of pain. It's not 100%. Necessarily a physical cause. I mean, technically it's a physical cause, but
for sure,
you have to think outside of your body sometimes.
Yes.
What is the thing outside of your body causing your body to feel this? You know?
Or even your mind too, right?
Yeah,
like maybe it's not a physical manifestation. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe you're like out of breath, fatigued, and you don't know where that's coming from, right? Like a huge thing that makes us coaches, or even inspired us to be coaches, was because we did that work within ourselves, right? And we were like, man, being aware has really allowed me to get to the root of the problem of everything.
That gave me chills. Exactly. Right? 100%. Yes.
Of everything. So what you want to do, and what your job is as a coach, right, is to help other people have that within themselves. Because you're not always going to be there to say, oh, you have a headache, so it might be this. You're trying to teach them to have that within their own journey.
Exactly. Right? Yes.
But if we don't have that, right, there's so many times where I hear like people that I love so much that are like talking to their doctor and they're telling them their symptoms, which is great, right? Like, okay, fantastic. And then I'm like, you're in my mind, right? I'm like, you're not telling them the truth. You're not telling them your lifestyle. You're not telling them what you do on a daily basis. And all of these things matter. They matter because these are directly correlated, not always, but in many situations surrounding me, right? Growing up, I'm like, these things are directly impacting your health. And because you're not talking about it and being honest about it.
Well, and it's a two-way street, because when you go into the doctor, you're expecting the doctor to like have all this knowledge. So you're expecting them to ask you certain questions so that you can provide the answer, right? But here's the thing that's happened, because that used to be, I don't know if they still do it, but obviously now with COVID and everything's shortened even more, right? But there was a proper technique you did ask lifestyle questions, social questions, especially surrounding smoking, drinking, things like that.
Yes.
Movement, how long you're sitting. Those were part of questionnaires. But now when healthcare became a business, it was about turnover. Yeah. So when turnover comes in, it's like, okay, let's get to the pinpoint questions instead of all these other things that could possibly be leading to the root cause, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And now everything's electronic health records. So it's like, okay, let's just bypass these questions. We want to get to what their main problem is, and let's try to find a solution to this main problem, not realizing that this problem could be on this long journey path, something totally different,
Yes.
which is why
exactly. And this
communicating and having that open dialogue is so important. And getting to know your patients and their, like you said, lifestyle and things like that, because that is what will provide more profound answers, I think, to help solve a problem.
100%. And you said that so perfectly, because it's true even with therapy. And just for the record, there are great doctors out there that do this because they have experienced their own thing. So regardless of what they've been taught, they're like, it's really important for me to know your lifestyle. So talk to me about that.
And
right?
It's something you have to teach yourself. Like the doctors that do that are the doctors that learn outside of what they learned in medical school and residency.
100%. I've seen that even with therapists. Like the best therapists that I know are therapists that have, which every human being, whether they're a therapist or not, has struggled in some way. But a lot of the best ones that I've experienced are ones that have really risen above what they've gone through and have realized that what their diagnosis was really connected to their trauma, really connected to what they were going through, what they've been through, and how they were coping with it. So when I talk to the therapists that I know, the first thing that they do, they don't get to anything else until they get to trauma, until they get to lifestyle, until they get to where have you been, what have you experienced XYZ, and if you have, what is your lifestyle right now, like what are you going through, what are you doing right now? And that's so important, because not everybody can do that for themselves. And many people are not doing that when it comes to technology. How many people are like, oh, you know what, I've spent, a lot of times they don't even know how long they've spent on social media, because it flies by because you're so stimulated.
I was telling Mom that the other day. I was just on my laptop doing work. This is like, and I hate being on my laptop. Like, absolutely despise it.
Oh my God.
It's always on my nightstand, and I don't grab it unless I absolutely need it. But I had to update stuff on my website. And I swear I started at a certain time, and the next thing I knew, it was like 6:00 at night. And I'm like, what did I do? Like 4 hours, you know? And
absolutely.
I remember telling Mom, I'm like, it's 6:00. And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, I went in my room and got on my laptop at like 2 something. How the hell is it 6 now?
Yes, that's how it is.
Yeah, it really is. And imagine, that's me talking about my laptop. Imagine working, the phone. Right? Yeah. Imagine the phone you don't just set aside. We're constantly picking up and checking. I'm guilty of that myself.
Well, it's because it's not even something that's in your hands.
No.
I think people think so. They want to believe that's so bad, right? Like, I remember being young, and not it being about social media, but other things, being like, it's in my hands. It's in my control. I'm choosing when and when not to do this. This doesn't control me. But yeah, I'm like needing something when I'm not having it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we have that, it is a problem, but a lot of times we're not even noticing that we're doing it.
Exactly.
Because our brain is signaled to do it, and it's so used to doing it that we just do it. Like, oh man, you don't think, oh, I haven't used my phone in an hour. You're just constantly,
and you take it with what you just said about it being in our hands, it just made me realize, like, and they even create things for you to just keep it in your hand.
Yeah,
you know, like I have it. I'm guilty, but like
it's part of you now.
It's me.
Yeah,
this comes with me.
It's really something.
Yeah,
it really is something. And I mean, you know how I've been about social media and use. I'm very honest with myself because I'm on a journey of making sure that I'm doing what serves me.
Yeah.
So that has to include technology. I can't not include that.
Yeah,
right?
It's a part of our life this day and age.
It is. And so you have to be really honest with yourself about whether it is serving you, whether you are using it or it is using you.
Exactly.
And our phones, because of how advanced they are, they let us know how much time we spend on it and on what we spend on. So if we go on our little settings thing on our phone, it'll say you've spent 7 hours on Instagram, you spent 6. And when you see that, you're like, wait a minute, I've been up for 8 hours and 7 of those hours.
Oh, yeah.
Were used on Instagram. How?
Yeah.
If it's not like I'm saying 30-second videos, are not 30-second videos.
No,
If
they
you
add up.
scroll and scroll and scroll
Yeah.
and scroll and scroll, that's hours. That's hours where you're just sitting there watching it.
Mm-hmm. It's what was I gonna say? It just flew out of my brain.
Oh no, catch
I hate when that happens. Oh, I saw a question the other day on a poll, and there's two things I have to say. The question was, and I'll ask you, because I answered it one way first, and then I rechanged my answer. So it's like,
Okay.
what would you rather not have, internet or phone?
Wait, what?
Which would you rather eliminate? Like, if you could eliminate from the world, which would you eliminate? The internet or your phone? And originally I said phone.
Okay.
But then I changed my answer to internet. I would rather not have internet because at least with the phone, I could still call people and have conversations, right? Like before we had the internet on our phones. The phone was the only purpose, even a house phone, right? Was let me call this number, emergencies. And if I want to chat with my auntie or my cousin or whoever, I can just call and chat with them.
Definitely.
Right? So then I was like, no, I would do without internet and I would keep my phone.
For sure. Phone.
So that was my answer.
Yeah. Well, for me too, it's crazy because I only use my phone for obviously for connecting, like doing stuff like this, connecting with people and work, like business, you know, so I need my phone when it comes to really connecting with people from all over the world. Internet, I have lived without, you know, like I really could care less about it. When I first moved to California, even though like my roommates had Wi-Fi, I didn't really use it that much. I only had my phone. I didn't have like Netflix or anything. One, because I couldn't afford it.
Okay, two, but I'm talking no internet on the phone either. So no,
no, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No apps, nothing.
Because I would still be able to talk to my clients.
Exactly.
And to the people that I care about. Like, that would be the only thing that I really need. Everything else is unnecessary, in my opinion.
It really is. I really would love to go back to before the internet, because as much as it allowed the age of information, as they talk about, we've reached a point, I think, where when certain companies start censoring information, like then there's a problem, right? We've reached a place where there's now a problem, because the whole point of the age of information is to be able to get whatever information you want, right?
Yeah.
And when you're not allowing people to search other pieces of information on this World Wide Web, like something's gone awry.
For sure.
You know?
And a lot of things too. I think even the simple fact that I don't think people were prepared for technology. I don't think people, like there's been such a surge, such a rise so quickly that I don't think people, you know, when YouTube first came out and MySpace first came out, it was very like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, look at all these neat videos, and you were on it for a while and then you were off. Yeah. And you didn't need somebody to like coach you through how to use it safely.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really care to sit there all day, every single day.
Exactly. Right? You were still having experiences outside, like life, real-time experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would talk about it, you know, like you would, I remember even on MySpace, there was a lot of like bulletins where you even talked about things that happened in your life. You know, it wasn't necessarily just like, let's sit here and numb ourselves all day, every day. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But, and also when I kind of was growing up and in high school, that's where like I was able to FaceTime and all of that, which was really cool. I wasn't scrolling on social media. I was like, let's FaceTime all night long to my friends that I saw every single day, you know, like no need for it. Was very wholesome. I don't remember it being, you know, there's always been negative things happening too behind the scenes, but I think because nobody was ready for it to just blow up so quickly and be so addictive, I don't think anybody was prepared for it. And now it's just part of people's lives all the time. And they're watching things that they're not in control of. Like they're just watching a whole bunch of things, and they're not putting their phone down, and they're not realizing how long they're on it. And that also becomes a problem because you're never off.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's the whole point, right? Like that's what these algorithms are. They want to continue showing you everything you're constantly giving your attention to. And I loved that documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, because it talked about how there's only two people that you call users.
Yes.
People that use drugs and people that use technology.
Wow.
And it just goes to show, if these algorithms, because they do, like, the great thing about that, that documentary was kind of trippy too, but at the same time, there's things that I learned from it that I was just like, holy shit, they do that? Like,
yeah.
Like, your phones watch and measure how long you're looking at a certain email, how long you're looking at a product when you're searching, obviously listening to us, because that's why ads pop up, right? And we could talk, whatever we're talking about right now is going to pop up in our feed.
Definitely.
And so that was the great thing about that documentary, in the sense that it showed me how much they're taking from us by us being on it. And then regurgitating that stuff back to us. But us, the individual. So like, now Ronnie's getting everything Ronnie looks at 24/7 all the time. Ashley's getting what Ashley looks at every single day, 24/7. And then say we're two different, we don't know each other, and we meet, and Ashley's got this view and I've got this view. And now, because we don't see what each other sees, we're butting heads. Right? Because we're only always constantly shown what we think, and so we think that's how everyone else thinks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Literally, it is set up that way.
Oh yeah. And that's the sad part, because that's where we start losing the ability to hear opinions without being offended. It's where we are able to say, you know what, I agree with what you're saying, or I disagree with what you're saying, but I don't take it personally that you feel the way that you feel.
Yeah.
And I feel the way that I feel. We've now reached an era where people are just constantly butting heads if someone doesn't think the way they think, or based on what they're constantly seeing on social media.
Absolutely. Because they're constantly seeing it.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say, TV show wise on Netflix, that I loved, and I loved your opinion about it, which was Black Mirror.
Oh, I love Black Mirror. So
much. So because I will butcher it, but I loved your opinion about what it showed with technology and where it can go, and how they portrayed it.
Yeah. So I love Black Mirror so much because of that. Because I think that, the whole reason this gets so confusing is because it's so positive. It could be such a positive platform.
Yes.
And it can be, right? Yeah. I'm using technology right now. I'm not against technology.
Oh yeah.
I wish that people knew how to use it. I wish that people knew how to benefit from it, because there are many ways that you can. We're benefiting from it right now. I'm very grateful to be able to do this. Like, there are people that I work with from places that I'm not at. You get what I'm saying? Like, it is a blessing. I've met so many people from all over the world. It's an amazing tool, but it has a really dark side. And I don't think that is talked about enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that in knowing that you should never use it. It just means that you have to use it with consciousness and being aware and being mindful. And Black Mirror, what I love is that it's very cynical. It's very like, look at all the things that you could do with this technology. They have so many. I mean, if you guys, whoever was watching this, if you haven't seen Black Mirror, you have to see it. But
I have children.
They have live games, right? They have this thing that's built into your eyes that you can like replay things. Things that maybe we dream of having, because we think, oh my gosh, if we had this technology, then I could remember what this person said and I can call them out because they said that they didn't say it, right? So many things that sound so great, that seem so great, that end up in every single episode with a really dark side, a really negative consequence.
Yeah.
And it happens because of how it's abused, how it's used. And we don't realize that this is the same thing. Like, the show is very exaggerated, very dramatized, but it's really similar. When I watch the show, I'm like, everything has a negative consequence, especially when we're obsessed with it, when we're like, I have to know, it increases anxiety. The show is really good at showing each character having more anxiety because of this thing that they agreed to, this thing that now they have within their bodies or in their minds that is now not allowing them to sleep, not allowing them to live safely. And that can be and is a negative consequence of social media that is not talked about enough.
Yeah.
Because nobody admits to it. Very rare do you hear people saying, I'm on social media 7 hours a day and I haven't done anything. But scroll on social. It's very rare because people are like, laughing, looking at these videos all day, every single day.
Yeah. There's going to be like future, you know how they have AA now? It's going to be like SMA, social media anonymous.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
as funny as it is, it's really not funny. Like,
exactly.
Really serious. It's a proven thing.
Well,
sorry,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I had a moment on Saturday, like you knew that I drove out to Reno because that was the only Apple store open that could look at my Mac, and they weren't able to do anything.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I'm like in this like mood when I leave because I'm like, I drove all the way up here, you know, and on the phone they said they'd be able to do something and they didn't do anything unless I left it there, but I need my laptop. Like I can't not have it. See, I'm talking about. Like if I didn't have it, this wouldn't be able to happen right now. Well, it would maybe on my phone, but like there's just, you know, it's that domino effect and spiral into the mood, the just purely zoned in on just that situation, right?
Yes.
So now I'm in Reno, so I'm driving through the mountains, Sierra Nevada, coming back. The sun is setting.
Wow.
And if I didn't have the ability to look at the bigger picture, I would have been consumed by these thoughts the whole drive. Fuck Apple, this, and that, you know, like just negative. But as soon as I saw that sky, oh my God, my mood flipped like 180. And I was just like, thank you, God. Like, thank you for showing me the bigger picture. Like, the vastness, and that was just a minuscule little thing in my day.
Yes.
Whereas I'm driving home with this beautiful view, snow on the ground, and the way the sky was, it was like, I'll have to text you a picture, but like,
oh my God, yes,
it was like fire in the sky. Like that's how orange the sky was, and snow on the ground. So it was just like, how could you not be happy after seeing something like that? So
absolutely.
That mood lasted maybe 20 minutes max. And then when I saw the sky, I was like, okay, it's not even worth being upset, you know? Like I'll make it, I'll do what I gotta do. But like if you don't have the ability to see that bigger picture, to zoom out and be like, there's so much more going on than just this.
Yes.
Imagine how many people would be happier than they are right now.
Oh, I got chills. Exactly.
You know?
Yes. You just brought up something that's so important that I think is missed and ignored, is that you miss so much. You think you're going to miss if you're not connected to these devices, but you miss more when you're so in it that you can't be present. Whether it's because you're thinking about it, or you're stressed because you can't use it, or because you're on it, you're missing the present moment, like precious moment. Simple. I was reading somewhere, I don't remember if it was Muji or somebody, but it basically said that there's so many simple things that happen in life that really transform your life in a positive way, whether it's like a smile or in a second. It happens in a second, right? And you've had many moments. I've had everybody has had those like second, like moments that you can't even grasp because of how fast they pass by.
Oh yeah.
Right? Whether it's a sunset, like you said, or a butterfly flying past you, or someone giving you eye contact and saying, hey, or smiling at you. All of those things you miss when you're driving, even as a passenger. You know how many times I'm like uncomfortable because I'm bored, and I'm taught to be uncomfortable with boredom. But it's like, you know how many times I've been bored, and because I didn't have my phone, I grew as an individual. Like I transformed my mind because I saw something in that split second that was so significant that I would have missed if I was distracted by something else. So if we're so stuck there, we miss so many beautiful, magical moments.
So many things. And it's why that saying is there, right? it's finding the joy in the simple things. The simple things do bring a natural like euphoria within you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I remember also, so you know the kids I used to mentor, Helene,
Uh-huh.
right? You remember that I went to her graduation?
Yes. Oh my God, yeah.
So at her graduation, the principal was like giving a speech. You know how they always give a speech to, you know, this class, whatever, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you, blah, 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 whatever he was saying. But he said something that I will never forget. You have kids, they're in 8th grade, so they weren't graduating high school, just for those that don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They were graduating, you know, their 8th grade. And he says, this generation, and I say this, and he said, I say this just to bring awareness to it, but this generation will be the first generation to admit to having an addiction to technology. And
Wow.
I remember sitting there and
Oh, that
thinking to
chills.
myself, me too, me
Yeah.
too, thinking to myself, like, what? Like, no freaking way. Because even though I had become aware of, like, you know, the obsession and everything to it, he said it is proven statistically that this will be the first generation to admit to being addicted to technology. And I could
Yeah.
not believe that he said that.
They were born with it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're like giving these kids iPads from when they're babies, you know,
Yeah.
if people that are adults, I mean, like I have people that are way older than me that are addicted to it, that did not grow up with technology,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So imagine someone that only has seen that. You're talking a whole lifetime of it, to where it's
Yeah.
even harder to disconnect.
Yeah.
That's not okay. And I think, as great as it is, as much of an advocate as I am, we can't do that without
We
being
have
very
to
honest.
we have to if if we understand that from that point forward, right? Because now we're in the midst of it,
Mm-hmm.
that if you and I were to have children, they're going to be growing up with this in the environment. We have to be smart enough to create that balance for them.
Yes.
If they're going to have an iPad for an hour, we better be playing outside for an hour too, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's creating that balance to show them what you just said, teaching them when to use it, how to use it, but also being able to have those simple joys in life, like
Yeah.
playing in nature, going outside, getting the sun, you know, and socializing in that sense. Like because
Absolutely.
that's the only way these new kids and generation are going to understand to not be so dependent and reliant and consumed and addicted to it.
Yeah. Consumed is such a powerful word.
Yeah.
That really is it. And again, it's not everybody, but the differences of people that are not feeling naturally, right? Like we spoke about earlier, it's not always that people are consciously always on it. A lot of times it's like
It's
they're the
unconscious.
space in between, right? It's the
Yeah.
spaces in between. I'm working, now I'm not working, let me use it. I'm in the bathroom, let me use it. I'm
Yeah.
in the kitchen, let me use it. I'm eating, let me use it. I'm sitting here doing nothing, let me use it. And those in
Yeah.
betweens are costly. Okay. You
Yeah.
have a lot of in between moments. And if you're not around people that call you out and hold you accountable, and you're not doing that for yourself, most importantly, what's
Yeah.
going to happen is that your life will pass you by. That's the
Uh-huh.
reality of it. Like,
Uh-huh.
I know many people, and I'm one of those people that uses it to connect, to speak, to share, to do things like this. But
Yeah.
when you catch yourself doing the opposite of that all the time, in every single in between moment, you're waiting in line, you're driving, you're on a road trip, those in between moments are transformative moments that you're missing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to miss them.
No.
You are in control. But if
Yeah.
you are unconsciously doing it, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm around people that I'm like, I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I'm here with you right
Yeah.
now. Like, and they're not here. They're
Yeah.
not with me. They're on their phone. Like, I'm sitting with you. And I'm so blessed that I have people that are not like that. Like, my mom doesn't have any type of social media at all. She's very big on, like, let's go to the park, let's play a
Yeah.
game, let's we play categories. We do so much in those in between moments. Sometimes we'll just sit and
Yeah.
sit outside and be bored together, but embracing those still
And
moments.
see, those are the things I think people have forgotten. Like the generations above us, right? Like, and I'll call my generation out too. Like, because
Yeah.
we my generation was the one where we knew life without it, but we were also when it entered.
Yeah.
Like, I was a senior when I got my first cell phone. And then,
Wow.
that's when it started booming, right? We were the age of AOL, instant messenger.
I used to love that. I remember that.
But like they also have become I don't know where I was going. What
Like
were we
on
talking?
another level. Well, we were talking about those moments that we miss, like
Oh, the boredom.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
That
that
we resist.
exactly. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to sit next to someone in silence,
Yeah, thank
right?
you.
Like it's
Yeah.
okay to just be present with someone, even if they're in their own head, you're in your own head. But you're sitting there together,
Yes.
right? That
Yes.
there's something about that because at any moment a conversation can be sparked.
Yeah. And energetically, right? When you look at it in a form of energy too, energetically, it's very different.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we were together in the same room and we were silently sitting next to each other, which we've done before many
Oh,
times,
totally.
right?
Yeah.
We're either laughing and like, ah, or we're like, okay, let's go just super zen. So when we're doing that, energetically, I'm still there with you. I'm
Oh
connected to
yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
don't have to say anything
No,
because before there was language, there was connectedness. We're just with each other, right?
exactly. Yes.
We're here. But when I'm sitting in the same room as you, in the same space as you, and I'm not here, right? And I'm not acknowledging you, my energetically, I'm disconnected to you. Something can happen and you're not going to be, you're going to be like, whoa, 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 what's going on? Because you're somewhere else,
Yeah.
energetically, mentally, emotionally. So
Yep.
it's very different when you're just sitting there with somebody versus like sitting there with somebody on a device.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
missing so much. Like even when I go and visit my little brothers who they grew up too in that like extra boom of technology, like
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
has an iPad, so we have, and
Yeah.
they are monitored. They have certain times where they can use it and where they can't. But
Yeah.
I'm like, don't use it at all. Like, let's just play. Let's just go
Yeah.
outside. Let's get in the pool. Let's run. Let's wrestle. Like, because
Yeah.
I don't have that moment again. When I'm gone, right?
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to see them again. They don't know when they're going to see me again. I don't know
Yeah.
when, if I hang out with you, I don't know when I'm going to see you again.
Yeah.
So if I miss even the silence, what am I doing?
Yeah. And even in those subtle moments, right? Like if you're, for example, you go on a date, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting across from this person and they're constantly on their phone. One, it's a turn off, right?
Bye.
Bye, exactly. But there's so much to be said in someone's mannerisms, right? So like if a phone wasn't there, you learn this person. You're observing one another sitting across from each other. You're
Yes.
seeing how they pick up their fork when they're eating or if they scrape their teeth on the fork or not. You know what I mean? Like you're observing the mannerisms of a potential partner. But if they're
Yes.
constantly on the phone, you're not ever going to learn those things,
No.
right? Like there's so many
Yes.
things to be said and to be learned about one another in those moments,
Yes.
where we don't need to have our phone with us.
You're absolutely right. Yes. I love that. I love that you said that. That's really, really important. And I think that those are the moments that people resist so much
Yeah.
because what am I doing? Nothing, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing. Let me just since I'm doing nothing, I might as well. And it's like
Yeah.
you are doing something. You're always doing something. Every moment is valuable. I'm not saying don't ever use it
Exactly.
to waste. Maybe you want to be entertained, right? Like
Yeah.
you know how many stupid movies I've seen that I'm like, oh my god, I just spent an hour watching this dumbass movie, 2 hours. But
Yeah.
that's
Or to
fine.
share a meme, right? You both laugh
Yeah,
together, like,
exactly.
so it has a time and a place,
Yes.
but we need to learn what those times and places are. I think that's where we're at now with the generation of what technology is in our lives is we have to create a time and a place for it. And
Definitely.
is it a priority or should it move down on that priority list based on your situation or the environment or whatnot?
Yeah.
Like if I'm on a date,
Absolutely.
I'm not pulling my phone out.
Look,
Unless it's a check a movie time or something, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
look, if I'm on a date and somebody pulls out their phone, that would be not only the last date, I will leave. I will leave. And it's nothing personal. It's no disrespect.
no,
Like, you find somebody that's gonna be on their phone too, but and
exactly.
even in partnership, like these moments, the relationships that I value the most are relationships with people that are there with me,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
want to be here with you, and I want to bask in every single second with you. And that doesn't mean that we're never gonna pull out our phone, like,
Yeah.
hey, let me check something really quick. But I refuse to be. I didn't live with my mom for a while, right? You think that I'm gonna be here on my phone with my mom? Like, no, mommy,
Yeah.
talk to me. Don't talk to me. I'm gonna be there. And she'll sometimes, oh, let me check this recipe, or like, look, well, sometimes we share
Yeah.
different things that we see. Sometimes I'll see a video and show her. But you think that I'm gonna waste hours, because that's the reality, hours of precious time that I could be spending having a conversation or just
Yeah.
sitting there with you, to be on a phone, when I once upon a time didn't have her around me. I would never do that.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, that time and place, you know how many times for my birthday, which is the last time I went out to an actual restaurant last year, we went to PF Chang's, and everybody, every single table there,
Oh
every single
gosh.
body was on their phone. And we were looking around like, what the hell is
Isn't
this?
it
These are
so weird?
zombies.
Isn't it so weird now? Like, I'll do that. Like, I won't be on mine and I'll look around and I feel like the not the weirdo, but like
Yeah,
almost, because I'm the only one that's not. I'm watching everyone else on theirs. But it's like,
same.
think of if someone were to come in and do something, who would be the first person to notice that something's being done? The person not on their phone.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like, who's gonna, I mean, I hate to put it in that situation, but if you're in a restaurant and
It's
everyone's on the
possible.
phone and a robber comes in or something and has like an AK or something like that, and no one pays attention except the person who's not on their phone,
Yes. What the hell?
everyone else is getting shot up because they're not
Seriously.
looking for cover or like anything like that.
No.
You know
By
what I
the
mean?
time they notice, it's too late. By the time
Exactly.
they're like, get out of their trance
Yeah.
of social media, the technology trance, it's too late. They're gonna be like, wait, where am I
Or they're pulling out their camera to like record whatever's happening,
again?
like
Yes.
another episode of Black Mirror.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's just,
What?
it's it's an interesting day and age to be alive right now.
Oh my god. You could say that again.
Interesting day and
I
age
know it.
to be alive.
I knew. I wanted you to say it again. For real. I need to. Oh my god. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm so grateful for everything that I've been able to do. I'm so grateful. I mean, we don't live together right now. Now it's you that I'm not with physically. And I'm like, but I'm grateful that we have technology to be
Yeah.
able to connect in some way.
Yeah.
But when I'm with you in person again, you think that I would want to be on my phone? No. Like, I want to be with you
Cool.
all day,
Building
every
forts
day.
again.
Exactly.
That is definitely something I'm truly grateful for. The time that we had together, like it literally, like even though we had our moments of like doing work and business and things like
Mhm.
that, like when we were present with one another, it was like it's been some of the most fun times in my life, like as an adult, you know. Like,
Me too. Oh, I love that.
yeah, so and that's those are the kinds of relationships and friendships like I want to be able to have and cultivate in life, because
Yes.
I want to be with my group of friends not on the phone. I want to be there with you present, you know? Like
Exactly.
that's more meaningful to me. I mean, my love language is quality time. So
Same.
like I don't care for pictures. I don't care for any of that. Like I want the
Mhm.
experience and the laughter that comes out of it. Like we've laughed
So much.
so much.
We really have. We
Yeah.
really, really have.
And I would never, like, no regrets at all. Like that
Mm-mm.
those are precious moments. And those are things that you literally can just remember in your head and just you get that like feeling and joy all over again. And at least for like a brief moment, you know?
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
and that's because of every single moment. We've done so many things, and
Yeah.
we did not, it's not like we lived together for 6 years. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we did like we can't even write a book with all the things we did, all the conversations we had, all the laughter, the tears, silly ass moments,
Oh my
weird,
God.
random,
Yeah.
crazy moments. Like,
Yes.
that was from being present, from really appreciating each other and appreciating the time that we had with each other.
Yeah.
And I've lived with people my whole life and not have been able to connect on that deep level because they're
Agreed.
not there. They're
Yeah.
not present.
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate because they miss out on
Mhm.
so much, on
Mhm.
so much. And for what?
Yeah.
To gain what? Like, if you're missing out, like you said, there were times where we're working, where we're missing out maybe in a moment, but because we're gaining another
Exactly.
connection, right?
Exactly.
We're
Yeah.
helping people, and they're helping us, and we're connecting with other people.
Mhm.
It's not like we were together 24/7, but when we are together, we're present. And when we're not, we're present in other ways. We're present
Yeah.
with ourselves, or we're present
Yep.
with other people while doing other things that are meaningful. If our whole life is being present for things that are not serving our highest good, that are not
Mhm.
meaningful, that don't do not involve meaningful connections,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Okay,
Mhm.
so I have a question for you.
Okay.
You know me, I always come up with the questions.
I love that. I love it.
um, of okay, let's say social media started, right? We got the
Mhm.
boom of all the certain platforms, popular platforms. Which did you join and which have you eliminated?
Great question. So initially, it's funny that you asked that because, and it's something I realized recently. So I had MySpace, then MySpace left, then I
Oh
had
my God,
Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah, then I got Facebook. And then when I was 15, because my childhood is very different. But
Yeah.
when I was 15 and I went through a big, no, I was 16, a huge shift in my life where I cut everything off cold turkey. I cut everybody off. I deactivated my Facebook and I didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
So for a while, I also didn't have a phone because I was punished for a long time.
That's a story for another day.
Another day. But like, I did not mind. I needed it for my mental health. I was in a very low place, so I was off everything. Then I got Instagram after I healed, after I rose above that experience. And then I was in a relationship. I had Snapchat and I had Instagram. I still did not have Facebook, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
If I did, I never used it. So that was still I almost never used it. Even Instagram, I was to post like pictures with my ex-boyfriend and, like pictures here and there. Then Vine, I don't know if you remember, but Vine came out.
Oh, I do remember Vine. Yeah.
Yeah, so that came out and my mom and I baked. I sold cupcakes in school. So I used that to make like little videos of our baking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or like funny videos with my cousins, like it again was never something I used often. It was
Yeah.
just something that,
It's almost like it was the original TikTok in a sense
yeah,
with the
for
short
sure.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were really short and you clipped
Yeah.
little videos together.
Yeah.
Minimal editing, like it was really just like fun,
Yeah.
silly videos. I remember it was just a fun, silly platform that, it wasn't about business for me then. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
let me show people what I'm baking.
Uh-huh.
And then that kind of stopped being a thing. I had Twitter, but very minimally. I did not use it that much. It was just like for Chiefman, which is Chiefman in English means like shit talking, right? Like
Okay.
you go on there and you
Yeah.
it wasn't a serious thing for me. Then, so social media for a long time wasn't really a big deal for me. But then when I moved to California, that is when I was like on Twitter, I shared my Snapchat. And on Instagram, I shared my Snapchat. And I was like, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny. Everybody follow my journey on Snapchat. Because it was like the Snapchat allowed me to share the longer videos.
Yeah.
Like on my story. So
Yeah.
really Snapchat and Instagram were that for me, and it's been like that since. I recently deactivated I don't know if it's deleted or deactivated my Twitter, because I was not using it. I think Twitter can be really useful, but for me, I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't find it. I didn't really connect with it. Sometimes I just used it for venting, but I didn't really connect with it. I wasn't really helping people through there. I didn't feel really connected to it, so I deactivated my Twitter. And so right now, currently, even though I have Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, and YouTube, I guess, I only post on those things. So I almost never, I consume content through YouTube because I find really cool, informative videos or funny videos. And Snapchat too sometimes, but Twitter is not in my life anymore. And Facebook, I don't scroll at all. I'm just most of the time I'm using it for my Facebook group or lives.
Yeah.
And if I'm on there, then I'll see certain things, but I could, if I deactivated it, it wouldn't really be, it wouldn't hurt me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? I know yours is juicy.
Is it?
Yeah, because you deactivated a few.
Yeah. Right? So MySpace obviously was the first one, right? That was MySpace. Even before Facebook. And I remember when Facebook was only for college kids and high school kids.
So cool.
Yeah. And I had to have a Sac State email address in order to even get, that's how Facebook was before.
No way. I heard about that, but I never experienced that. That's so cool.
And then I want to say it was somewhere between like 2004 and 2009, maybe, that it changed gears. Because I remember going to Canada for a cousin's wedding, and my cousins up there, they didn't do MySpace up there, but they did have Facebook. So they were like, get on Facebook, Ronnie, like, so that we can keep in contact. And I was like, okay. So I created it, but I was still never on it. I was always on MySpace. And then eventually I ended up deleting my MySpace and moving more fully into like Facebook. And I used to be on Facebook all the time because like memories pop up now, and I'm just like, what the fuck was I sharing? Like, who is this person?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And then Instagram came out, and I was like, no, Twitter. I had Twitter before Instagram.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had Twitter I think since 2009 or something like that. Nice. Twitter was before Instagram. Yeah.
I think it came before. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
The app was made before. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And I did like Twitter because I could put things on there because no one was on there. Everyone was on Facebook. So I was like, I could write my real, like how I really feel on Twitter because no one's going to see it except all these strangers.
That's funny. Oh my God.
And then eventually I got Instagram, and that's also where my Twitter name was IDK Ronnie, IDK _ Ronnie. Right. And so I was like, well, let me keep the same for Instagram. And it was just about posting pictures. At that time, it wasn't even hashtags or anything. Like, it was just, here's a picture.
Didn't exist.
The videos weren't even around yet. Like, I remember it was, I think, 2013. I went to a cousin's wedding in Canada again, and all of a sudden, Instagram, you could do little 15-second videos. And I was like,
remember that. Videos on Instagram. It's funny. Wait, pause. So you said 2013, and that's when I graduated high school. So it's so cool.
30? How old was I?
That's amazing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was 30. 2013, I was 30.
Wow, that's so cool.
So for me, when I got on all these things, it was about the fun of it, right? Oh, it's fun. And then at that time too, with Instagram, it was just whoever you followed, whenever they'd post, it would just go in like chronological order. Yeah. Like the latest. And then as you scroll, it was like the oldest type thing. And so it's like, okay, cool. Like, and then the discover page or whatever. But it was for fun. It was just like a creative outlet and for fun. And I don't know at what point, and I fell off Twitter because I forgot my login or something like that. And and Instagram just became a thing. And it just, I don't know, like at one point it's almost like it shifted. I don't know if it was when I started working for myself that something about it shifted in my mentality, and that
Yeah.
you want to gain followers, or you want to help boost your business and things like that. But it's like, it's still something about that didn't feel right in me, because I didn't create it for that reason. I created it for the simple joy of like creating and posting, and that was it. And then because it now had this new role, and because of where we were in society now at this point too, where like you use your social media for your business to boost your business, you know, and when that got put on top of it, in my mind, it was just like, it wasn't fun anymore.
Of course.
And when
it became business.
Exactly. And that's when I started having my mental struggles with like mostly Instagram, because of the pictures and then the like writing stuff, and almost like feeling like I had to put myself on a show type thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just, it didn't sit right with me in here.
Absolutely.
Because it was never the reason why I got it, right?
Yeah.
And
it's all algorithms, right? So you feel like you have to fit a certain mold.
Yeah. And then you see people doing stuff that's similar to what you're doing, and you're almost like putting them on a pedestal because you see them with a higher following, and it's like, but I do the same thing. Where's my, you know what I mean? So it's like, when no one needs to be put on a pedestal, we're all, if I ran into them in person, I would still treat them how I would treat you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like you would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it became detrimental, I think, to my mental health, to be honest. Like, even like when we moved to San Diego, I took that little break from it, and it felt so good. But then for business reasons, I felt like I needed to be on it again, you know?
Of course.
And of course we create new handles for the business and like all this, and all the meanwhile, I'm hardly ever on Facebook. That faded away into the distance, you know, and would hardly ever go on that. And finally, the first thing, the end of 2020, I finally will fast forward now at this point, because I was just at that point where it was just like, it's draining. My eyes started hurting from staring at the screen for too long, because I realized I was consuming more than I was producing.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is not me. This is not me. I prefer in real life interaction, word of mouth business. Yes. And I'll put out what I need to put out. I share what I need to share when it's divine. This stuff I love doing. I will continue doing this because it's so informative, and I get good feedback from people that I know in life that enjoy it, as well as the ones that I do with Coach Thomas on Tuesdays on Facebook. And that's on his Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't do it on mine. I will share his.
Exactly.
And so I had to do a inventory, right? LinkedIn. Do I ever use LinkedIn? Nope. Delete it.
Yeah.
Instagram. I'm over it. I want to delete everything associated with it. I'm done. I don't want them to have my stuff. So I'm deleting everything before I delete the account.
I love it. Oh my God.
And so did that, and deleted the app from my phone, deleted the Facebook app from my phone. I only go on Facebook on my laptop now, which I think I already said earlier in the episode, like, I don't want to be on my laptop. So if I'm not on my laptop, I'm not on Facebook.
Perfect.
And yeah, so Twitter is the only thing I have on my phone still, and it's because I like words. Words are so powerful. So for me, if I feel inclined to put something out there, I can tweet it. And I like reading words. So I'm not consumed by the photos. These are powerful words. I'm going to like this. I'm going to retweet it. So I kept Twitter, and I did join Telegram on my phone.
I've heard. Why does it sound so familiar? What is Telegram?
Telegram is like an alternative thing to like Twitter. You can create channels on it.
Okay.
And share information on that. So a lot of people that were being censored on like Instagram or Facebook or shadow banned created Telegram channels so that they could share alternative news and things that's not on mainstream. There's a place for them to be able to share it.
Okay.
So I am on Telegram, but that doesn't take a lot. Like, I'll look at what news is being shared, because like, especially in regards to health or political things, because we're only shown certain things on mainstream media.
Exactly.
So Telegram is my way of seeing the other side of it, because I like to see
The full
I
picture.
talk about zooming out, right? I like to see both sides, and I discern which I agree with and which I do not agree with. I don't want to be force fed only one thing, right?
Yeah.
So I check it in the morning and then I'm done for the rest of the day type of thing. Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm becoming more and more of like a hermit in a sense.
That's good.
But socializing still outside, like with clients day to day, like actual people that are in front of me.
Yeah. Which is important. I think that what's so important about what you said and what you shared is that you're honoring what you feel is necessary for you.
Yeah.
And I think that you listen to the signs of that. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing. Maybe a lot of people don't feel the negative consequences of it because they're not on it that much, or because they don't, or they feel connected to it, which is fantastic. But only you can know that. Only each person, each individual can know, right? Like, I don't feel connected to this, or I do, or I feel, like it's affecting my mental health. Only you knew that because you were with yourself enough to feel those consequences, negative consequences. And so, or effects. And so you honored yourself in what you really needed. And I'm glad that you did that, because I know it's something that you had wanted to do for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that you finally ripped off the Band-Aid and you're like, I'm doing this. And you look and feel better, I'm sure, because you're honoring what you want. And the truth is that, like, if you want to do something, you have to know that everything's going to be taken care of for you based on what you want to do. There are people that don't even have any technology.
Yeah, and that's what I kept reminding myself. Like when it was like, do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I do it? And I remember like, and I know people like that. So it's like, I know it's doable. I know it's feasible. And I know it's still like, you can still have a life outside of,
for sure,
of this, And so, yeah, there's still plenty of people that don't have all that stuff and still live happy and fulfilling lives. And and that's my little reminder as to me making the right decision for myself, like you said, and knowing which ones I do want to put my energy into and share, because it does still resonate with me.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. Like, that about yourself because you spend time with yourself and you're honest with yourself and you try things and that's how you figure out whether something resonates with you and connects with you or not. And each and every single person is different and has a different way of maneuvering through technology. And I think that that's what's important about, like, what we're even speaking about, is that we're not like, never use it or use it all the time. It's just really have discernment, really be honest with yourself, really know, like, what you're doing, what it's doing to you, whether, because some people, like, it's the opposite. Like, they don't want to grow their business. They're trying to grow their business. They're like, no, they're still using it just for fun because they work at, like, they're like nurses, or, they have 9-to-5 jobs. Their job is not at all to try and build a following.
Exactly.
Right? They're on private. You know what I'm saying? And they're using it just for entertainment purposes. And that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But just have enough discernment and be present enough and aware enough to know if that is serving you.
Yeah.
And, like, how long you should be using it, because I cannot say that for people. I can only give my opinion and what I recommend as a coach. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to you knowing yourself and what works best for you.
Exactly. 100%. You couldn't have said it any better. And that's why we are the coaches we are, because that's what we share with our clients, I always tell my clients, take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Love that so much. I wish people could live like that, and be able to have conversations and just know that, like, you don't have to agree with everybody and agree. Like my friend said, I always talk about her, but she's like, she loves social media. She's like, how can people not like this? But she uses it. She uses it in such a positive way.
Yeah.
And she's so in control of what she uses it for, that she doesn't feel the negative experiences that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And she's not on it 24/7. She has a family and, she connects with people. So, and she lives her personal life. She's not glued to it.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own thing, and you take what you resonate with and you leave what you don't. I love that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm prepping myself for my family.
Yes, girl, because you're gonna be present.
Yeah.
You're gonna be tuned in.
Yes, that's definitely going to be the most important thing.
For sure. I know I'll have that day too, where I'm just like off of everything. I know that that's the end goal for me. I don't want to be on here forever.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I will use it for whenever I feel like using it.
Yeah.
But the day I'm like, this is, I'm done. I'm gonna be done. Yeah. Fully. Oh,
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're looking at where we're at now, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen where it was and how far it's come to where we are now. It'll be interesting to see the trajectory of it in the coming years, especially because we look at it from a conscious point of view versus a mindless point of view.
Exactly.
You know,
so yeah,
that'll be an interesting.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully better.
I hope so too.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. One, thank you all for tuning in to season 4 of Honestea Talks. We love you and have so much gratitude for you guys and your viewership.
Yes.
And we're gonna take. Are we taking a 2 or 4 week hiatus? Did we say 4?
It's a 4 week.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be back with season 5 in 4 weeks.
Yes. If there's anything that you want us to talk about that we haven't talked about already, let us know. You can email us. You can send us a comment in the description, or no, not in the description, in the comment section. Yes. Just let us know if there's anything you would like us to talk about, because we have many topics, but we welcome anything.
Yes, welcome any topic, because that's the whole point, to be able to have conversation around any topic.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you. Bye, everybody.
Last heart.
Last part of the season. Oh,
yay! We did it.
We do it so much faster.
Awesome. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.